And now I'm very excited to hopefully welcome Anna Panagopoulou from the European Commission here in our plenary. So I hope she's waiting backstage and that we are about to see her online in our session. Anna is the director of the DG Research and Innovation Center at the European Commission, and she is talking to us about creating an environment that is enabling citizen science in Europe. So Anna, welcome to have you here in Berlin. And we are very excited that you're joining us today. And I hope that her sound is also working. So let's see whether we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, excellent.
Can you hear me? Very well. Thank you, Silke, and good afternoon to everybody. I'm very happy to be with you today. Unfortunately, I couldn't join you physically, but I hope next year or whenever there will be a similar conference like that, I have the pleasure to be with you. So, dear gentlemen, dear researchers, dear European citizens, I'm very pleased to be today with you at this conference and to share the European Commission views on the role of citizen science and its importance for the European research and innovation activities and policy, but also its key role for the society. This conference is organized by the German presidency at a very important period. The new policy paper for the future of European research area has been adopted by the Commission, inviting member states, research and innovation actors, but also European citizens to work together to deliver research and innovation policies and actions that matters and provide solutions to the society. It is also the period where the negotiations of the new European Research Framework Programme are about to be finalized, and the strong engagement and involvement of citizens is one of these key aspects. Citizen science is an activity that is flourishing. Citizen science has already been off in the last year as part of the activities in the context of the European and national policies, initiatives, networks, but in the context also of many, many projects that have been launched already. Some of this is due to increased awareness and concern about issues such as climate change and biodiversity loss, but some is also due to the development of technologies that make increasingly easy to the general public to continue to research in diverse ways. This has been matched by efforts to ensure the very highest standards of ethical practices, inclusion, and data quality in citizens' science activities. In short, we have gone from demonstrating that citizen science can have value to consolidating learning, ensuring integrity, and important that we are be able to embed citizen science in research processes and even more to policy monitoring mechanisms. None of this would have happened without the dedicated hard work of citizens and, of course, practitioners of the citizen science and the general public that has given its time and effort to get involved. What has been the European Commission support so far? The European Commission has been supporting societal engaged research, such as citizen science, for several years, particularly in the science society programs. Over time, support has gone from primarily researchers-led research projects to multi-stakeholders co-design and co-creation projects involving actors, including citizens. Horizon 2020 Science with and for Society program is supporting numerous projects whose aim is to conduct excellent science with citizens, covering all areas of science, from public health to frontier physics. These projects examining the implications of citizen science and EU-level hubs to draw out good practices and coordinate between initiatives. The Commission has promoted the responsible research and innovation throughout all parts of Horizon Europe programs. Responsible research and innovation aims to encourage societal actors, including citizens, to work together with academia during the whole research and innovation process, with the aim of research and innovation and its outcomes with the values, needs, and expectations of the society. I'm happy to say that so far, more than 2,500 Horizon 2020 projects have engaged a wide variety of societal stakeholders. Hundreds of those projects conduct citizen science activities, organize societal debates around key research questions and new technology developments. Has taken a broad approach to citizen science to avoid restricting novel practices, while at the same time putting an emphasis on the involvement of all parts of the society. But why it is important to open research performing organizations to society? Despite the important results that every citizen science project have on its own right, we need to promote also changes within research funding and performing organizations, such as universities, to the structures of those organizations, so that they become enabling environments for citizen science. In Horizon 2020, where considerable efforts were put into supporting research funding and research performing organizations to open up to society. This includes structures to the input of civil society organizations, citizen science, and ensuring that research and innovation is as inclusive and open as possible with regard to gender, age, and ethnicity. But we expect more than 300 institutional changes in organizations across Europe to be implemented as a result of the support by Science with and for Society program. In addition to opening up those organizations that have made changes, these have also developed an evidence base that makes possible even more widespread support under the new Research and Innovation Program, Horizon Europe. In Horizon Europe, we'll see a step change towards collaboration of research and innovation. The program prioritizes co-design and co-creation, and a key indicator of success focuses on citizens' engagement and engagement mechanisms in research organizations. The step change is visible across all, and in particular in Horizon Europe, missions. Missions on cancer, climate neutral, ocean, smart cities, and food will each comprise a portfolio of different kinds of actions to achieve a both national and measurable goal within a set of time frame. These portfolios of actions will give prominence to user-led innovation, citizen science, and public engagement activities. It will promote that research and innovation activities will address and provide solutions to society important issues. Social engagement should also become an integral part of the European research area. We need to achieve social impact and foster trust in science and innovation. This more collaborative approach presents a big challenge for the European research and innovation system. It requires organizations to do activities in new ways and to start working with the right interlocutors and expertise to do them well. It also requires funders and policymakers to agree on how to promote good practices and incentivize societal outreach and citizen science. Concretely, the European Commission has proposed to organize with member states and stakeholders participatory citizen science campaigns to raise awareness, networking, and interaction. We have also proposed that European areas are used to focus efforts, and in some cases that cities or regions can be used as initiatives. The German Plastic Pirates Initiative fits very well with this proposal. and would be delighted to further develop this initiative as an ERA pilot action and embedding in the new European Horizon Europe mission on oceans. Dear, this shift towards a more inclusive and collaborative research and innovation system presents a big for us all. Research and innovation actors, institutions, policymakers and funders, and the citizen society community. Firstly, it requires the expertise present at this conference, the networks, and the organizations that have been involved in science with and for society or responsible research and innovation projects to work with new constellations of organizations across Europe. This will put the practice, know-how, and capabilities that over these years to good use and support them to grow and become even more widely recognized. Secondly, it requires targeted support to research-performing organizations to the challenge of open and collaborative research, building on what we have learned in recent years, supporting institutional changes. Finally, in partnership with other authorities across the European research area, it requires us to raise the profile of societal engagement, promote engagement activities in research funding and performing organizations, and co-organize Europe-wide citizen science campaigns that raise awareness of important issues while doing excellent science. And this conference in particular is an excellent example of a collective approach. It is only by collective supporting these kinds of activities and creating the right framework conditions that we will successfully see citizen science play its full role in supporting and working towards the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And it is very important that if we want research and innovation work, research and innovation projects, research and innovation impact to matter for the society, to join forces and work together in the years to come in order to deliver solutions for the European citizens and to include the European citizens in the design of European research and innovation. This is the only way that we will ensure that we will be able to address the important societal challenges and at the same time to raise the competitiveness of Europe through research and innovation and its cooperation with its citizens. I thank you for your attention and wish a lot of success to all years to come. Thank you.
So thanks so much, Anna. That was very insightful, and I'm hoping that by now we have some questions in the chat. So I'm opening the Q&A, so please start asking your questions. So first of all, a big thanks to you from Enrique Bali. So if there are no questions yet, I will start, and I would be really curious what the strategy of the European Commission is to bring citizen science more towards Eastern Europe. Is there any strategy, or do you have any thoughts how European could support citizen science initiatives in Eastern Europe?
So thank you for this question, Silke. As you know, Europe has to work through its framework program, but also in order to ensure inclusiveness as well. This inclusiveness should address also the issue of citizen science. Through the European Horizon Europe framework program, but also through the ERA, there are specific priorities that had to do with how we can address the issue of Eastern European countries. This is very important to be done, and there are two ways we are able to do that. In particular, by creating strengthening the hubs, innovation hubs across Europe, and in particular in Eastern countries, where we have centers of knowledge and where the participations of citizens with academia, with business organizations will be extremely important. So we try to promote hubs across Europe, and in particular to those areas that they less of capacity already established in this type of hubs. And secondly, for us, it's very important to use some support actions through the Europe Framework Program to reduce the divide in Europe, and in particular to provide support to Eastern countries. So I would like to raise particular of the widening part of Horizon Europe program, where we have a lot of tool set of actions and activities which would be able to address the issue of citizen science, but also the part of European research area support. There is a particular part of Horizon Europe program which is going also to address this issue.
Okay, thanks so much for your very detailed answer. So Henry Sauermann is asking in the chat, how is the push towards more citizen science received in the traditional scientific community? How do you address concerns that arise there? So what is your perspective? Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I have to say that I cannot speak on my heart, from my heart. I mean, in a way, my opinion is that we have to communicate more. We have to do more outreach. I believe the new framework that we have established at policy level between the European Commission, both in our and the European research area, will give us the possibility to reach out to those societies that are reluctant on the citizen science. And I cannot think about concrete measures. I believe that all the measures and all the activities that we have put in place during the previous framework program helped a lot to alleviate the concerns around the communities. And the only thing I can say that we have to work more closely together with the citizens in order to convince still those that they are not convinced that citizen science and involvement of citizens is very important.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. So I have another question from Peter Berg. He is asking, will the EU build its own capacity, e.g. people and funding for citizen science?
Well, this EU building the own capacity of the EU, what we plan to do is to put in place a lot of training. I'm not sure whether I understand very well the question, to incentivize the research organizations, and also to put in place a lot of words. Also, citizen science, it's one of the issues that has to be embedded across the clusters and missions that will receive tens of billions in support. So the new areas of missions that I have already announced are going to be areas where billions under Horizon Europe program and beyond will be spent on, and we hope that the missions will become really the areas where we'll bring closer citizens together with the research and innovation communities. We intend to support sharing of tools and best practices for citizen science across Europe.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot for that really detailed answer. So to expand a bit on that, Marina Manzoni is asking, are you going to include citizen science approaches and practices as requisites, preferentials of mandatory in the selection procedure of projects and initiatives to be supported within EU R&D funding programs?
Thank you very much. So for these questions, of course, citizen science is one of the cross-cutting priorities that we have seen in the context of the framework program. Citizens' engagement will be part of issues to be taken into account during proposal evaluation. It is, as I said, is going to be an important indicator of the performance of the Horizon Europe program. So how they are going to be taken into account during the proposal evaluation is something to be developed in the context of the various programs.
Mm-hmm. So Marina is adding that such requisites where applicable, could allow for a really quick mainstreaming of citizen science throughout different EU-funded R&I areas. So just stressing this, how big of a push this would be. So I would like to expand a bit on long-term funding, because one big problem that we always have in EU funding, not only EU funding, but third-party funding, is that we get seed money for projects, and these turn out to be these great resources, and then projects end. Are there any plans to develop a program for long-term funding of citizen science initiatives?
We are still developing the work programs now, so I cannot already preclude what will be the possibility in the future. But what I want to say, which goes to the citizen science per se, is the role that the missions they are going to play in the future period. So for us, missions are policy initiatives. There will be investments coming from Horizon Europe program, but we hope that we will activate investments also coming from other resources, national, from other partners that will be interested. And I'm saying that because missions and where the involvement of the citizens is extremely important, they have a limit in the sense that we hope that we provide solutions in the next years to come, in the next 7 to 10 years. But we need to ensure also sustainability on that. In addition, in relation to the science, the citizen science activities, we will also have to explore the sustainability for those activities that will be launched as part of the Horizon Europe program. So I cannot give you the answer now because we are really at the beginning of the cycle, but certainly sustainability will be one of the key issues to analyze and address through and beyond Horizon Europe program.
Mm-hmm. So talking of Horizon Europe, André Mascarenas is asking which efforts were made for Horizon Europe to go beyond classical criteria to evaluate projects. So for example, going beyond merely quantitative indicators. So he's adding that this is important to give incentives to researchers.
Okay, so first of all, concerning criteria for evaluating proposals, we do have the criteria that have been already agreed between the Council and the Parliament for the evaluation of the Horizon Europe proposals. These are the three criteria that we always have. It's about excellence, it's about implementation, it's about impact. Now, how the proposal evaluation per se and the criteria will be analyzed and will be defined in each one of the work program is something to be established in the different work program and depending on the areas they will address. What is also very important is to highlight is that our idea is that the proposal evaluation will be based, of course, on expert judgment, but as well as quantitative indicators. So this is how we plan to address this issue in the future, in the coming evaluations.
Mm-hmm. So Katrin Hadash is coming from a bit of a different perspective, and she's asking, are you also considering industrial partners? Is there a way to assure protection from exploitation of citizen science research, e.g. patents or on developments? So what is your take on this?
Well, challenging area as well. And what I would like to say is that if you look at the European research area communication, but as well as the overall approach that we took under the framework program, we generally promote citizen science as part of older approaches. And concerning industrial activities, we would like also to see how we can go ahead in the future. So we are looking at it. We have to look at it, and it's one of the priorities that have been already identified. We have in the context of the European research area. We have also supported industry for ways to open to society. Besides, we have our rules for IPR and exploitation as part of the framework program. And as I said, IPR is one of the areas that we are going to look in the future, even from the policy point of view.
Mm-hmm. So thanks a lot. Henry Sauermann is asking, what do you think about involving citizens in the evaluation of grant proposals? So, for example, to judge societal relevance and impact by citizens themselves.
This is something that we are still discussing internally at the Commission, in particular in the context of the mission, because as I said, missions are actions that they are very much linked to the needs to the needs of the citizens. So it is a very early stage because the implementations of missions is something, and the evaluations of missions project is something we are still. But this is one of the ideas to involve citizens as part of the co-assessment of those proposals.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And one question from Anke Greif-Winfried, and she's asking, do you plan to establish an interdisciplinary matching platform for potential research consortia?
Yes, this is a part, of course, of our activities that we will do. It's always there, and we plan to establish something like that, indeed.
Mm-hmm. So I would like to ask one last question, and this is referring to what Signe pointed out this morning, that upscaling regional projects, such as the Plastic Pirates, that was upscaled under the German EU presidency, is one way to mainstream citizen science. Do you have any examples or any ideas what you think, what initiatives should be worth to upscale?
You mean projects, initiatives that are at regional level that could be at scale at European level?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I have to say that there is nothing that it comes in my mind, but we can see about projects where, for example, as I said in the era communication, one idea is really to have some engagement of citizens in campaigns, and there might be some initiatives that are taking place at regional level. For example, I'm just thinking about where we have a regional ecosystem and where we have the involvement of industry, society, business, and academic sector. Probably that type of activities where, for example, we open the university of research organizations for the citizens to visit, to understand how research and innovation is organized at regional level, and what is the impact for the society, what is the delivery for the society, for the problems of the society. We may envisage to consider regional activities to engage or to enhance at European level. That's an idea, but it might be something still to reflect. In the era communication, it's very clear that we would like to do more in this direction. And citizens' engagement, it cannot be only at high European level, it could start from regional level.
Mm-hmm. So I have one last question, and this is again from Anke, and she's asking whether methodological research on citizen science actually plays a significant role in your funding.
I think yes. We need to see how we can bring these things together. As I said, playing an important role in EU funding means that I suppose you speak about the funding under European level. I mean, the Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe program. So we do fund research on citizen science, and this is very important for policy development. And generally, we have already implemented projects to do citizen science. So, and for the moment, we have just few projects, and we intend to continue this approach in the next framework program.
So thanks so much for being so open, Anna, and asking all our questions. All the questions in the chat have been answered, and we are perfect in time. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank so much to you that you came to our conference virtually and made all the technique work. And thanks so much, and greetings to Brussels.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to continue our exchange of views in a future context, similar something like that, which is a great event. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.